Joining us this evening to talk about the world of sport is Kasim Elegbede joins us this evening. Thank you very much for joining on Game On tonight.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'll also ask you a similar question. I mean, over the weekend, we had lots of interesting things in the world of sport. Which of these activities caught your fancy?
Honestly, Oye just took it out of my mouth. It was a big sober reflection and a double blow for me as a person, first as a Nigerian, and then as a staunch Liverpool fan of almost 5 decades. I mean, the loss of Diogo Jota and his brother, and the loss of our legend Peter Rufai. And this is just a painful reminder of what life is all about. I mean, this guy, he had the best 1 month of his life. He just won the Premier League. He won the Nations Cup. I mean, after the European Nations Cup, he married this long heartthrob, and 2 weeks later, on his way to training, he was taken away in a tragic accident, along with his brother. I mean, at 28. For some of us, it was a big shock, and you just have to reflect about life. We should be grateful that we're alive today, because, I mean, that was a boy that was ill and healthy, very fit and a strong athlete, and is no more. I mean, Wednesday evening, he was bubbling, and then Thursday morning, he was no more. And then the difference of Peter Rufai too. I mean, anybody who knew or witnessed Nigerian football in some 30 years ago would not forget to milk and, really fully celebrate Peter Rufai, as Oye said. It was so unfortunate that a lot of people dropped the ball at NFF.
All right. I mean, we can go on talking about this, but of course, Peter Rufai did give his heart for Nigeria, and a lot of persons would always remember. I mean, 1994 from the Nations Cup to even before then, he was always be the team silver medalist in the 80s. But we, look forward to also seeing what the NFF would do to pay respect to him. Let's begin our show with some football stories, especially going to Morocco, where 9-time African champions Nigeria Super Falcons began their 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations campaign in dominant fashion with a 3-0 win over Tunisia and Casablanca. Asisat Oshoala gave the team an early lead in the 4th minute with a clinical header before Rinsola Babajide added a second just before halftime following a VAR review. Chinwendu Ihezuo sealed the victory in the second half, and the Super Falcons were never really in trouble and dominated the game. Although Tunisia did hit the crossbar in the second half, Nigeria now shift focus to Botswana on Thursday. The Southern Africans lost their first game by a lone goal to Algeria.
We are not flattered by the scoreline. We know what we set out to do. We have watched the game. We have noticed areas that we also know that we need to improve. So it's still work in progress. Like I said, it's the first match. And naturally, playing the first game, sometimes a lot of factors come into play. You don't expect your team to be at their best playing from the first game. Certainly, because you still have more games to play, the expectation is that you hope to get better in every game up to the finals, and then the last game will be the tournament. Thank you.
All right, joining us this evening all the way from Morocco to talk about the first game, or to talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, the first game, or what to expect in the second game, is the media officer of the team, Mary Cathryn, joined us this evening. Thank you very much for joining. Mary, a wonderful time for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Good start towards getting a Mission X. That's, of course, the title, the 10th title. Take us through what's happening in camp, the mood of the players after the first game, how they were able to recover from that interesting victory against Tunisia.
Hi, Favor. Good evening. Good evening to everyone out there watching us. Well, it's been an interesting time so far in camp. But just re-echoing what the coach said earlier, which we watched, the players are not flattered or taken away by what we have right now. That's the result against Tunisia. Currently, the focus is on the game against Botswana, and everyone is just looking forward to the next one, making sure that the job gets done, plugging all the holes that needs to be plugged, basically.
All right, we did see some interesting, outing for some of the players, especially for Rinsola Babajide, who got her first goal for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. A lot of persons did not see her start coming. Yes, she's a fantastic player, but she started the game, gave a good account of herself. Take us through what went down. I mean, especially with her celebration. Paying respect to Diogo Jota, Rinsola Babajide, and some of the players in camp. Are we saying that we'll find a winning team going into our next game, or we might just see another surprise come up in our lineup?
Before the start of the WAFCON, one of the things I told lots of people I spoke to was the fact that as far as this team is concerned, currently we have lots of depth. We have lots of tactical ability in this team. Anyone can be called upon at any point in time to effect any kind of change that the coach wants, and they'll get it in this team. That's exactly what happened in the game yesterday. I mean, we brought in Rinsola. It's her first outing at the WAFCON, and she has always stated how important it was for her to actually score for Nigeria. And it's just fantastic to see her being able to do that yesterday while also paying respect to Diogo Jota. For her, I'd say it's a great start. It's a beautiful start, and she can only move forward and go high from here.
Well, Mary, I want to crave your indulgence to digress a bit from yesterday's game. I need clarity on an issue that happened few days ago when the Falcons got to Casablanca, especially when Rasheedat Ajibade, the captain of the team, posted on her social media handle complaining about the poor quality, of their hotel room, specifically about the dirty towels, the broken air conditioners, and all that, the small, size of the room. What is the situation now? Have they been relocated? Do they have a better situation now?
Hi, Wichi. Of course, those issues have been taken through diplomatic channels. I can assure you we've had changes, not all the changes we would have liked at this time, but then there has been changes, and more changes are still being worked upon that I cannot disclose now, sadly.
All right, Mary, looking at the group, Nigeria are favorites on paper to win a 10th title. We've seen how other teams have started. 4-goal thriller in the first game between Morocco and Zambia. We also saw earlier today, or rather this afternoon, South Africa, the defending champions, getting a win against the side Ghana. I mean, what is Coach Madugu telling the ladies, considering the fact that football is not what it used to be in the last few years, where Nigeria could just go out and they get a massive 5-0 scoreline or 6-0 scoreline? What do you think, or what is the coach telling the ladies going into our next game and, of course, approaching tougher opponents?
I think I do like how you put that, because, for example, a good example is in the past, we've found ourselves, really getting huge score lines against North African opponents. And here we are this day where football has really gone beyond what we used to know it as, especially female football, or women's football, as we would like to call it, of course, in Africa. I think for the coach to the girls right now, and just as he has emphasized since the beginning of this tournament, which is that we are taking each game as a new opportunity to showcase ourselves. There would be no laxity. There would be no complacency. Whatever the results we get in the past is, we're respecting all the opponents equally, and we're making sure that we don't get carried away by whatever results we've had against them, whether in the past in this competition or we're in previous competitions. Every game we go into, we're respecting the opponents, and we're trying our best, giving our all to make sure the job is done.
All right, before we let you go, I'd like to ask how much of support are the ladies getting from the NFF? I mean, earlier today, before the game against Ghana, between Ghana and South Africa, I saw pictures of the president of the Football Association in Ghana going to the camp of the girls to psych them up before the game. How much of support are the ladies getting from the Nigerian Football Federation?
The ladies are getting lots of support right now. Of course, we've got our members of the official cadre of the NFF here, time and time out, making sure they're checking on the ladies and all of that. So definitely, the ladies are getting all the support needed, necessary from the NFF at the moment.
All right. I don't know if Elegbede has a question for Mary before she goes. Do you have a question for him for her before she goes?
Actually, it's not a question. Thank you very much, my moderator. I'm just happy with the vibes coming out from that camp. First, I listened to the coach, and then this is the media officer talking, and they are saying the right things. You know, you have at this level, you have to take each game by game. You cannot afford to start thinking ahead. The first job is for you to qualify from this group. Then you start thinking about the next opponent you are going to meet at the knockout stage. Remember, no matter how well you do at the group, the knockout stage is knockout stage. You could be knocked out and sent home the next moment. So I'm happy. Everybody is focused on the next opponent. You have to give Botswana the respect they deserve. And then win that match, put it behind you, think of the next opponent. I think I'm happy. I tipped the Super Falcons to go all the way, even before this tournament started. And the noise I'm getting from the camp, I'm very, very happy, and I remain on my prediction.
All right, commendations coming from Elegbede. Mary, this is from me. I want you to also clarify this. There was a video trending earlier today about Rinsola. I mean, one of the players in camp, I think Esther, with a plastic bottle as a shin guard, and it caused controversies. A lot of persons, have been saying, was that what you used in playing the game? Can you clarify that and put this to bear? What really happened? Was it content? And from the player who her video went viral earlier today.
I think saying, yes, it was content, of course, from Esther. Anyone, which is one of those things I would usually say when we get into situations like this. It's usually important that we do some deep dive, that we do some digging before we come to conclusions. Now, anyone who has taken the time to go through Esther's page on Instagram would see that a few months ago, right in a club in the US, she actually made content like that, where she used, I think it was paper cuts as shin guards. So no, definitely that's not what the situation is. Esther, being of course one of the really jovial, fun ones out here, was just trying to lighten the mood and just do some really interesting and funny things, and that was just what all that was about.
All right, thank you very much, Mary Akinshola, for your quality time. We wish the team all the best, and we look forward to another important win in the next game. That's on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. We hope to get a very interesting one. You have a wonderful night's rest.